climax of the year's activities was Roundup, which began with a colorful parade Friday afternoon, April 2nd.
Roundup began in 1930 as an annual celebration that brought alumni back to the 40 acres, with reunions and events such as a massive parade. The parade consisted of fraternities, sororities, and other clubs and organizations building floats that paraded down Guadalupe. Though these floats often showed creativity and school spirit, some floats had racist or homophobic depictions. In 1949, for example, part of the parade contained individuals dressed in Ku Klux Klan attire, as well as a white student of Delta Tau Delta in complete blackface. Blackface is the act of a non-black individual portraying a person of color by painting themselves black and acting in an offensive and stereotypical manner. By the 1950s, the popularity of Roundup began to grow and more money was spent on the event. However, by the 1960s, students began to lose interest, and student government pulled out of sponsoring the event. By 1972, the Interfraternity Council began to sponsor and organize the event, and continues to do so today. Roundup began to more closely resemble its modern counterpart in the 1970s, as student Roundup consisted of parties and rush. Chiquette Hamilton, the former director of the Division of Diversity and Community Engagement, wrote her thesis on the history of African Americans at the university, and through her research, found that between 1980 and 1990, at least 5 parades included mocking and harassing of minorities and the LGBTQ community. On April 6, 1990, racial slurs were found on a Delta Tau Delta float, and Phi Gamma Delta sold t-shirts at a basketball tournament with an offensive representation of African Americans. This led to major backlash from the student body, and on April 13th, the current president, William Cunningham, was unable to finish a speech addressing the student body as students shouted over him in anger. The events of the 1990 parade led to the Texas X's withdrawing support for the event, and led to the event no longer being recognized as a university event. James Vick, the former UT Vice President for Student Affairs, said that, "I think it was a combination of the negative impact that year's Roundup had on the lives of all of us on campus, our community spirit, and our relationship with various communities around us. It was also the realization that we'd had problems with Roundup in the past that weren't necessarily racial, but were there nonetheless." Roundup continues to the present, with the most recent Roundup occurring this past weekend, beginning on March 23rd. Though many of the racist traditions of early Roundups are no longer followed, Roundup has still drawn controversy in regards to racial tension over the years.